our first guest has been making us laugh, first on the hysterical The Bob Newhart Show, and then on Newhart. Tonight, you can see him on ER, and beginning this Friday, you can catch him in the new movie Elf. Please welcome one of my comic idols, Bob Newhart. Hi.
Hi. No, we finally, we've been trying to see each other, and I keep missing you, and you keep missing me.
And now we're seeing each other.
I had to come here to
yeah, you did.
see you.
I know. I've been trying to see you because you're still performing like 25 shows a year, something like that. Yeah. And I was dying to see your show in Thousand Oaks, and I couldn't make it there. So I am gonna make it because I really have to come. You have you have influenced my style. Before I knew I wanted to be a comedian, I watched you and watched the show and absolutely loved your style and loved how quiet you are and how it's not mean-spirited, how it's nice, how it's clean, and how it's smart. And I thank you for helping me before I even knew it.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad I influenced somebody good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Because I could have influenced somebody terrible.
Yeah. Well, no, but seriously, you're just a genius, and thank you so much. And so because you started out, you weren't like me. I didn't know I was going to do stand-up. Yeah. You were an accountant.
What were you going to do?
I wanted to work with animals in some way.
Oh.
And I thought that was safe.
And in a way, you have.
Yes. I've actually said that before. Some are more tame than others. Yeah, so that's what I was going to do. But you were an accountant, and what made you decide to do stand-up out of that?
I think what happened, then I went into, another guy and I had a radio program which did horribly. I mean, and then he took a job in New York, and so I had to decide whether I wanted to team up with someone else or, then I decided that I was going to give it a try. I was going to give comedy a try because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life saying, I wonder what would have happened. I felt I had to do it. I'd give it a year. Well, the year turned into more like 4. And then, but there was always something on the horizon.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't really intend to go into stand-up. I thought I'd go into local radio or television. But a disc jockey friend of mine named Dan Sorkin in Chicago, the Warner Brother record people were coming through town. And he said, I have this friend of mine that I think is funny. And he said, well, have him put some of his stuff down on tape and we'll listen to it. So I had 3 routines at that time. So I put them on tape. You know, no audience or anything, just, and they listened to them. They said, okay, fine, we record it at your next nightclub.
Just record an album like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, well, there's a problem there because I've never played a nightclub. They said, well, then we'll have to get you into a nightclub. So they got me into a nightclub, and I recorded the first album.
Wow. That's amazing to get an album before you even had worked.
Yeah, and I never expected it to do what it did. You know, I thought it might maybe sell 25,000 or something, and you know, it would induce people to coming into the nightclub to see me.
Wow. And now, so you're more storytelling like I am. I don't really do jokes. I do more stories.
Yeah,
and again, probably because of watching you so much that I do that. But how long was your act? Was it a long act in the beginning?
The first time, when I went down to, the club I played was the Tidelands in Houston, Texas. And I followed, I was the opening act for Ken and Mitzi Welsh, who wound up writing a lot of special material for Carol Burnett. And I had 18 minutes. And I had to develop another 18 for the other side of the album because people have this prejudice against not having something on the other side.
Right.
You know? So, what's this?
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't you put the needle on and nothing?
Yeah.
You know? So I went out one night and I did my 18 minutes and I came off and I walked by the maitre d' and he said, go back out. He said, they're applauding. And I said, well, that's all I have. I said, well, they're applauding, go back out. So I went back out and I said, which one would you like to hear again?
we should explain, because there are some young viewers watching, and they're just used to CDs now that have one side.
Oh, that's
Albums
true.
used to have two sides. Well, that's
you know, you have to. I used to do a routine on raising children, and they used to do a thing about a diaper pail, you know, and now you have to explain that was before disposable diapers. You
Right.
know, that most people say, what's a diaper pail?
Yeah.
Well, the diaper pail is, you know, where you put used diapers.
right.
You know?
Nobody knows about that
No.
anymore. Wait, more and more people, actually, some people are starting to use diapers again.
Oh, are they?
I think so. Aren't they? Or am I making that up? What do I know? This is the first time I've ever worn this. I don't know. We'll be right back with more Bob Newhart right after this. We're back with the legendary Bob Newhart. Now, that was last week on ER. That was the first of 3 episodes
yeah.
that you're going to do. And
He has a macular degeneration. That's why he can't see forward. He can only see peripherally. So he's kind of has to feel his way around his apartment.
Right. Now, last week, what I saw is that you left the hospital. You got sick of waiting around.
Yeah.
That was a huge episode. They did very well last week, the ER.
Surprisingly well, yeah.
Yeah. And you're just fantastic. It's so strange to see you like that, because we're so used to seeing
Well,
you.
they took a chance. Yeah, and, you know, John Wells and the producers said they thought I could do it, and they took a chance. I mean,
Yeah.
because all I've done is, that's the first intentionally dramatic thing I've ever done.
Intentionally? Yeah.
Well, you've been there too,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you start out doing comedy and
Yeah.
it becomes tragedy.
Right. Well, I think that's why, you know, a lot of comedians can do serious roles, because I think a lot of comedy does come from that. And
Yeah.
we experience a lot of tragedy
Yeah.
that we have to turn into comedy. Now, I understand that when you were doing the Bob Newhart show, when you started, the producers were trying to get you to lose the stammer, that they called it, the way you spoke?
Yeah, well, that's my natural way of speaking. You know, it's the show, the pilot was running a little long, and so they said, "Could you run some of your speeches together?" You know, and I said, "Look, this stammer has gotten me a home in Beverly Hills."
Yeah. That's right.
But I'm not about to change it, so you better take some words out. You know?
Yeah. That's yeah, good for you, because I would never let anyone change me. Yeah, that is interesting how someone hires you for exactly who you are and what you do, and then they slowly start trying
Yeah.
to change you to fit into something that works for them. So I love that you are who you are, and I love seeing you. Now you're in Elf right now with Will Ferrell, that opens up. Is it this week?
It's
Friday.
Friday. I think,
Friday.
yeah.
And it looks hysterical.
It was a wonderful experience. It really was, working with Will and John Favreau, and I'm very proud of being part of it. It's a wonderful Christmas story.
Oh, it looks like it. And Will is hysterical.
What you see is what you get. He's
Yes.
he's as nice as you can be, and as funny as you can be, and has
Yeah.
made the transition from Saturday Night Live, which is basically sketch, to doing a movie role, which
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah, well, he's a great guy. He is. He's so
Yeah.
nice. Let's take a look at Elf,
Elf?
a clip
Okay.
from Elf. Fantastic. Elf opens this Friday. ER is on Thursdays at 10 o'clock on NBC. Thank you so much,
Thank
Bob
you.
Newhart, for being here.